All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this session of Midday Cafe. We're here for another action-packed episode, and I want to thank you all for joining us. You can always find out what we're up to in the U.S. Health and Life Sciences by typing into your browser aka.ms/HLS blog. There you'll see postings from various team members talking about the health and life sciences community and offerings that we have, things that are coming up next in shows, great shows like the Midday Cafe, trying to make sure that you get the content and information that we have. But enough about me and overview. Let me start with a few introductions. With us today, covering the news and upcoming events, is Samantha Brown, and covering Q&A and mailbag is Pete Anello and Mark Litwin. Also, Sam will be hosting our special guests for today, which are Nikita, Pitliya, and Gregory, Lisiak. Those two are going to go through the COVID vaccine health bot with us, which is a really exciting thing that we're really pleased to offer. So they've got a whole bunch of great content for you to share with you. A little bit of housekeeping. We actually have moderated Q&A chat, which is open. Please feel free to share with us where you're signed in from today. Give us a shout out from wherever. We'd love to hear from the various locations in the world that you joined us from. Feel free to drop us questions. We don't promise that we can answer every single one of them, but we'll do our best. And if not, we'll take ones for follow-ups in future sessions, use them as part of our mailbag session going forward. But feel free to drop us a note if you get a chance. And for now, I will turn it over to Samantha for the news of the day.
Awesome.
Have to enjoy our new jazz music, Sam.
Yeah, loving it. Okay. So, news and events for the day. These are just a few highlights that we have from the past couple of weeks. Just wanted to fill you all in. So we have Reimagining Care Delivery, the Developer Challenge. So this was a virtual hackathon. It was actually presented by Allscripts, Matter, Microsoft, and ARC, and it was held in December. So they were tasked with designing the EHR of the future to help reduce the burden on nurses. And you have to check out this webcast. We have the links there, but we'll post it afterwards too. We basically chat with the judges. We have the innovative hackathon winner whose solution is really bringing joy back to the field of medicine. You got to check that out. Next up, we have last week, we announced Work Lab. It's a site that's really focused on the future of work. So it combines Microsoft research, customer voice. It's really trying to spark conversation on the changing world of work that we live in. And just some highlights, there's stories about Together Mode and the origin of it. Sneak peek, Stephen Colbert is involved. There are tips on how to improve your meeting. You can hear from experts on workplace relationships, technology opportunities when it comes to your frontline workers, and then even ways to balance the ever-evolving workday. So jump into the community. Let's learn from each other. We're really excited about Work Lab. Next up, if you haven't checked out the Microsoft Annual Sustainability Report, you can actually see the goals and the themes come to life in a Minecraft town. So there's everything from like sustainable food production, waste management, dependable forests, sustainable homes. There's alternative electricity. Those are just a few of them, but essentially it's a free download in the Minecraft marketplace, and it's really furthering the mission to build a better world through the power of play. And the cool thing is it's inspired by the Microsoft Sustainability Report. So cool new things coming out in the Microsoft Teams world. So when it comes to digital classrooms, whether it be learning, training, this is in public preview now for education, but there are going to be a couple new features, two of which I'll highlight. One is called Classroom Drop-In. So think about if you have like a guest lecturer or a teaching assistant or a substitute teacher that you need to add into the classroom, but you need them to be removed once their session goes away. That's this classroom drop-in. So their access is revoked right after their specific drop-in session. going to be a game changer for education. Also, there's announcements around assignments and grading. So teachers can kind of get high level info about performance on the classroom as a whole. They can also dig into specific assignments or specific students that might need more help. So you can try it out. School leaders can try it out for free. It's now in public preview. All right, and last but not least, this midday cafe. So if you go to our blog, which Patrick mentioned earlier, the aka.ms/HLS blog, that has our upcoming webcast schedule. We already have it fully booked even through March, almost out until April. And this time next week, we're going to be discussing the Epic FHIR integration. So if you're not familiar with it, FHIR stands for Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resource, and it's become the standard for exchanging healthcare information electronically. And when it comes to like care coordination, collaboration, I know I've been talking to a ton of my healthcare customers about that, especially when it comes to patients and clinicians. We need that integration with EHR. We're starting with Epic, and we really want to allow for that real-time secure communication, all in one place with the context that you need in Teams. So you're going to hear next week from the man himself, Andre Santamaria, and he's going to talk about the features that are available now as well as the roadmap. So that is a quick update on the Microsoft news and events. And Patrick, if you want to go to the next slide, we'll get on to the main event. You have some great speakers today. You have Gregory Lisiak. He's the Microsoft Healthcare Architect and Digital Advisor. And you also have Nikita Pitliya. She is the Senior Cloud Solution Architect at Microsoft. We work with them a ton. We're going to be covering today the Microsoft COVID vaccine health bot, and they're going to be talking a little bit about a high level, but they're also going to give a demonstration on how exactly it works. They're here to answer your questions, so please feel free to reach out to us in the chat. This is a hot topic that a lot of our customers have been asking about, and we are here for you during this webcast. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Nikita, and she's going to give us a quick overview of the COVID vaccine health bot.
Thanks, Sam.
Sure thing.
Okay, yeah. So, good morning. I'm from the west coast of US, but good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining in today. Thank you for tuning in, or if you're watching the recording. But thank you. We really appreciate you taking time to join us in our discussion on the COVID-19 vaccine health bot. Before I move forward, I want to thank the Midday Cafe team for carving out an entire session on this important topic. And a huge thank you to all our customers, partners, and collaborators who realized the value of the Azure Health Bot and leveraged it during the pandemic, not just to ensure to reduce burden on the healthcare professionals, but to provide accurate information to patients and end users alike. Today, I'm joined by Gregory Lisiak, who has done a lot of groundwork and has played a pivotal role in bringing out the COVID-19 vaccine eligibility template, which we'll be showing you today. And today, the agenda is that we'll go over a few important capabilities, go through recent statistics, and then we have a fun demo planned for you. So without further ado, let me start by talking why the Azure Health Bot played an important role during. So the Azure Health Bot is a cloud service that is purpose-built for the healthcare industry, and it empowers developers and organizations to build and deploy AI virtual. So it has libraries, it is customizable and extensible, yet highly secure and complies to over 50 plus regulations.
Hey, Nikita, really quickly, we just need to share your content. We can see your video, but I think you're talking to the slide right now.
Right, I have shared. Let me try sharing again.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, do you see my slide now? Okay, got it. So the previous slide was this, speaking of the capabilities, and we'll provide you this documentation later in the resources, so you can go through what are the different capabilities that I spoke of. And over the last year, Just since March 2020, the Azure Health Pod has been deployed in over 1,000+ instances and delivered close to 1 billion messages, with serving over 80 million users spanning across 25 different countries. So that's huge. And now with the vaccines rolling out day by day in different countries, patients are again chaotic on what are the different vaccines, who is eligible right now. So all these questions are being asked to healthcare professionals, which can actually be directed to a health bot so that manual tasks can be reduced. So with this info, let's dive into a demo. So once you create an Azure Health Bot instance in your subscription using the Azure portal, then you can navigate to this management portal of the Health Bot. And here, this is called the scenario template catalog, which has 2 sections of templates. First, the COVID-19 response templates, which has 8 templates, and then some popular templates. So these are pre-built templates, which are ready for use by just click of an import. So today we'll be talking about vaccine FAQs and vaccine eligibility, these 2 templates. So here, if I click on this and click import, that's it. I can then go ahead and start using this. So I have already imported these 2 templates for eligibility and FAQs and hosted them on an Azure website to show you what the experience looks like. So we'll share links to help you create the health bot and then deploy them on an Azure website. And then you can embed this in your public facing website using an iframe. So I just want to show you what the user experience looks like. And this demo instance that we are using is going to be the same between Gregory and myself, just to show you how easy it is to collaborate and make customizations in your organization. All right. So here, as I said, I have already hosted this. And now you can see that this asks me for, okay, which template do you want to demonstrate? So this is a test scenario, and I have added 3 different templates. First one, let me check on the vaccine eligibility template to show you the out of functionality that you get. So here, initially, there is a developer node customized with the bot picture. And you can make changes to ask maybe for a user consent or show terms and conditions to your users before they move forward. So the first question is, what is your age? Check the box, click on the box that shows your age accurately. And okay. All right, so probably I'm having some network issues. But the next question is, have you tested positive for COVID-19 and are under isolation at the moment? No. Do you have any allergies? No. Has a physician indicated you not to receive the vaccine? No. And for the scenario, the question here is, are you currently employed as a healthcare or a first responder? I'll answer yes. Have you previously experienced a severe allergic reaction? No. Do any of these symptoms apply any of the previous chronic conditions or not really? So based on my responses, I have been determined to qualify as eligible for phase 1A. So in this template, there are 3 phases, phase 1A, 1B, and 1C. So based on your responses, if you are determined to be at risk, and if you qualify in the first phase as determined by CDC, as guided by CDC, then you would get a message like this. If you're not at a risk and you don't belong to any of these phases, then you get a message that you're not currently eligible for phase 1 vaccination. All right. So this was the first template. The second template also I have imported right here. And there was a question on allergies. I don't have any allergies, but I'm curious to know what are the vaccine ingredients. And when I type this question, the FAQ template finds me the answer by matching these words in its database, which is called a knowledge base of Q&A pairs. And it finds out this is the answer. And based on the vaccine that you're being administered, you can click on this to find the fact sheet fact sheet, sorry, of what are the ingredients and what you need to know before you get the vaccine. One other question is herd immunity, and I don't know what is the percentage of people who should be getting vaccinated to achieve herd immunity in our country. So I just want to type herd immunity because I don't know how else to form the question, but let's see what answer we get back. Okay, so the template did match this with the answer it has, and it says that experts do not yet know what percentage of people would need to get vaccinated to achieve herd immunity. And it goes on to explain what herd immunity actually means. All of this is sourced by the CDC, and the FAQ template has 47 Q&A pairs by default, sourced from this website at CDC, and curated by the Microsoft product team for this particular product. This is the out-of-the-box functionality, and now Gregory will show you how you can customize this. So with that, I pass over to Gregory. Gregory, over to you.
Awesome, thanks Nikita. Let me get my screen shared here. So let's take a peek inside that vaccine eligibility template that Nikita just walked us through. So if you're new to the Microsoft Azure HealthBot, you'll notice a friendly user interface for enhancing the delivered scenario templates, as well as a flexible canvas for being able to write your own custom scenarios. So let's start by introducing, for those that might be a little bit unfamiliar with this this user interface, the green boxes as well as the blue boxes are the prompts and responses that you saw demonstrated as part of the eligibility template flow. The yellow diamonds here are the evaluations of the prompt responses, and the white boxes are the action code blocks or the JavaScript that you can use to further evaluate the user responses and perform other actions. And so during Nikita's demo, you saw a list of conditions. That list of conditions actually came from the CDC, but there's actually two lists of conditions. One for a list of conditions that put a person at increased risk for severe illness from COVID-19, and a separate list of conditions that might put a person at increased risk. So let's take a look at how quick and easy it is to make adjustments to this scenario. And we're going to, so this is the prompt down here that is used to display the information that you saw in Nikita's demo. And you'll see that it's using the localization table of custom strings. So this allows for support for a multi-language setup for the bot. And for purposes of this demonstration, I'm actually going to clone this. It makes it easier to undo the changes. And I'm going to clone that twice. And let's go here. All right, so now in terms of the prompt, and let me just, there it is. I'm going to do a little housekeeping here. Give the prompt its own name. So we'll call that risk factors. And I created my, in terms of being speedy for this presentation, I've actually created the localization strings that I want to use, and we enter that here, and then we'll do the same here on this other one, and we'll call this one other factors, and we'll change the variable name right here, and we'll change the string again. All right, and so now that I've done that, I've actually taken the first step of bringing in two different lists of conditions. And so now I have to reconnect the prompts in order to, in the sequence that they need to be joined in. And so I'm actually going to save this. So before I go and change the action code, I'm going to make sure I didn't have any typographical errors. So I saved the scenario. I'm actually going to hit run from here. So this gives me the ability, and if it works, it'll prompt a list of checkboxes. And that one looks good. Active cancer at the top, chronic kidney disease. And then if I continue on to the next one, I'll see a different list, moderate to severe asthma. And so this actually validates that I was able to make those changes without any typographical errors. So I'm going to copy over some code that I have staged on another in another document here, and this is actually and I'll explain what I've done here. So because I use the same variable, I don't have to touch any of the code at the top, and this is evaluating the risk factors that are listed in that first condition list. And then what I've added here is some code to evaluate the second, the other factors variable that I added the new prompt for. So that's the first of two changes, and the next change that I'm going to add in here is where I'm going to actually make adjustments to the phase eligibility. So the bot, Nikita referenced phase 1A, B, and C, and then there is depending on how you responded to the prompts, you might actually fall into an unprioritized phase. But what I'm going to do here is introduce a new phase, and we're going to just show that has other factors as phase 2A. I changed the other to 2B, and so we'll click OK here. And so I'm going to save this one more time, and then I'll show you what happens after those two action code blocks. So this is actually a switch. So we have a variable here called scenario wave. I just added to phase 2A and 2B, and the switch is going to evaluate phases 1A, 1B, and 1C. And then automatically pass 2As and 2Bs off to a different end state. But for all practical purposes, I've now made some changes, and I'll make one last change. So and then I'll demonstrate how this all works. So at the very beginning of Nikita's demonstration, she had an age prompt. And then after the age prompt, it will kick out for contraindication. But let's just say that I wanted to get rid of or bypass the COVID isolation prompt that was there. So I would simply drag down the COVID isolation prompt, and we'll turn that right into the vaccine allergies prompt. So we bypass this this one prompt, so it won't be evaluated anymore, and we'll move on and take one less question on the prompt. So I've saved this, and we're going to move on to a demonstration and just see if this all worked together. So the way the HealthBot works is you have to refresh your web container before you'll actually see those changes reflected in the bot itself. So as this resets itself here, I'll be able to walk through the same bot scenario that Nikita was using with the changes that I just introduced. So we'll run the vaccine eligibility template, and I will pick the age category of 18 to 64. You'll see that it jumps right into the allergies question because I took out the COVID isolation question. I'm going to say I don't have any allergies. I'm going to say that I haven't had a physician tell me not to receive the vaccine. I'm going to say that I'm going to say no to healthcare worker or first responder. I'm going to say no to residing in a group home. But I am going to say that I am an essential worker. And so that should pop me into phase 1C if I remember my phase logic correctly. Haven't had any severe allergic reactions. I'm going to leave the active conditions blank, and then I'm going to do that for the second grouping as well. And let's see, phase 1B is the essential worker, which makes sense because that is the logic. And I'll just show that real quick right here. This is the wave assignment. And since the variables are fairly self-descriptive, you'll see right here, scenario phase 1B is the essential workers and people in the group index of 4, which is 75 and older. So that's it for the demonstration, a little deep dive into the vaccine eligibility bot flow. So hope that was beneficial to just understanding how quick and easy it is to make adjustments to the COVID-19 bot templates. Is that back to you, Sam, or Patrick?
Yeah, I can take it. Here we go. Thanks, Greg. Gregory and Nikita. That was awesome. While we are getting the slides back up here, just wanted to first off say thank you so much to our speakers that are here today. We already have a ton of questions in the Q&A, which is awesome. So we will begin to go through those and get those questions answered. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Pete, who is here today for our mailbag and open Q&A. Pete, take it on over.
Hey, thanks, Sam. Yeah, so we have a few questions. I'll just start at the top and work my way down. The first one is from NAR, and it says, NAR says, it seems the bot integration allows us to integrate OAuth-based authentication. Can you show us an example to use smart on fire / similar to allow a patient to log in and authenticate?
Yeah, so hi, thanks for the question. So there have been several instances where Smart on Fire apps have been integrated because with the health bot, there is authentication allowed, and using a REST API call, which is called a data connect element in the health bot, you can make these connections by providing the necessary OAuth connection. We don't have a demo right now, but it has been done at several customers. So we can share links that help you create a demo for that.
Great. Next question came in anonymous. It says, can the bot get smarter over time by learning what it doesn't know how to answer?
Yeah. So if you consider just the health bot, what we showed are a sequence of questions and answers that we coded, that we hard coded, right? But if you want to make it smart, then there are other options like embedding Azure AI cognitive services that help in making the bot smart and intelligent. So some of the common Azure cognitive services that can be leveraged here are called Stirring and Q&A Maker. So there is an option of active learning and making these cognitive services smarter. So when there are questions that directly do not match with what the user has typed in, but these cognitive services are able to learn from the user behavior and then provide a much better match so that it learns over time. But with just the health bot, not in the scenario for vaccine eligible, but you can obviously integrate it with other cognitive services.
Thanks. Next question. Lost my page. Do you have multilingual support within the platform?
Yes, we do. So by default, there are 9 different languages or dialects in English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, and Chinese, which you get out of the box for at least the built-in statements that are there in the templates. And if you want to customize to other dialects, there are over 100+ dialects supported, but you'll have to type in the keys and the sentences that you want in those 100+ dialects. By the system languages that are supported, there are 9 dialects available.
Great. The CDC information in the live page, it gets updated frequently. Will the information flow dynamically to this template, or is it manual to be updated?
Want me to take that, Nikita?
Yeah, go for it, Gregory.
Yeah, so the Q&A Maker has the ability to, you can write a script in order to refresh the information on a regular basis. A lot of organizations actually like to review the information and the updates that are coming from the CDC before they incorporate that into their knowledge bases, but it can be done in an automated fashion or done through the Q&A Maker user interface and brought down and refreshed on a periodic basis.
There's a few questions about the telemetry available. Organizations deploy it. How can they measure the success and the use of the solution?
You want to take that, Nikita, or should I?
Yeah, I'll take it. So in the Azure Health Pod, the management portal that we showed you, there is an entire section on analytics, which provides reports such as what are the number of messages or what are the number of unique users who have hit the bot, analytics on what are the built-in scenario sessions completed versus incomplete, and if someone has used built-in medical libraries for triaging, those are also reported out. And the duration is anywhere between 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, up to a year. And also there is a feature to show you unrecognized and unhandled utterances. So in case someone types in a FAQ like, okay, how many vaccines do I have to take? And if it is not available in the template, then it would be unrecognized utterance. So that would still be reported to you. So you know what are the utterances and instances that the bot is currently not able to answer. And then you can modify the scenario to answer these common questions that maybe your users are asking again and again, but the bot does not currently answer. So that is all available in the Health Bot portal for analytics, which is a built-in reporting. And there is also custom telemetry. So that is a fairly new feature, which is you can connect your Azure App Insights instance to the Health Bot so that all the telemetry that the Health Bot collects by default, you can redirect to an Azure App Insights instance. And after that, it's very easy to create Power BI dashboards or export out to an Excel sheet, which is a standard way in most organizations to use App Insights for that purposes.
Another question comes in. What are the possible integrations for backend databases?
So I've personally done backend integrations with Azure SQL Server database, and I have a customer that's actually has a very large bot implementation that's connecting back into a Cosmos database. So the connections are largely done through an API integration. So as long as there's an API to write back to that database, there shouldn't be a lot of obstacles in order to do that backend integration with just about any database.
Yeah, and to add to that, Pete, so the Health Pod integrates with Azure SQL database, as Gregory mentioned. Apart from that, Cosmos DB, and also since this is the Health Pod and we have a lot of healthcare organizations who want to leverage the FHIR APIs. So Azure Health Pod also integrates very easily with the Azure API for FHIR.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions that we have coming in. Unless anyone else has anything else they want to chime in. Awesome. Well, really want to thank you for your time today, guys. This was super interesting. And I want to let all of our viewers know that all of the recording and all of the resources will be curated and updated to our HLS blog, which is at aka.ms/HLS blog. And with that, I hope you guys have a great week and stay safe.